everybody, it's me, Finch, and I'm going to be showing y'all how to make some lo-fi hip-hop using Reaper. So let's get into it. I usually start by picking a song and choosing a little hook from it, a little loop. So since this is lo-fi, I usually like some chill jazz piano. I've already picked the song. We're going to use Cole Porter's Night and Day, and I like just the beginning part of this little bit here. Let's take that metronome off. So I think I'm going to cut a little hook out of there. So we'll go here and here. Now glue the item. And it's going to create a separate .wav file. I like keeping the whole song. I might slice out other bits later. But I want to keep this simple. I want to move along fast. This is just more about showing my workflow. If you want me to do more in-depth tutorials or you don't understand what I'm doing, let me know in the comments and I will do a more in-depth explanation. So I'm going to be using Disturbance, which is a free VST. I've got the link in the description of the video here. And I'm going to use this to host my loop that I just made. So I'm going to go into Reaper. Try not to look too close into my computer. I'm sure you'll see terrible things. Let's see here. What was it? Night and Day. Okay, here we go. Which one? I have this one. Okay. So anyway, find the loop. Stick it in here. I'm going to be using a MIDI keyboard. However, you can use a virtual keyboard to trigger it or whatever you want. Now I use this to kind of play around. I can mess with the filter. I can tweak it out if I want. So I play around with this for a while, but I'm going to basically leave it here because I want to keep this simple and move along fast. But normally I would play around with that for a while to try and figure out what exactly I want to be my main hook. I'm just using the S key here to split this up. I'm going to glue this so I can loop it. And now for however long I want this MIDI information to be going to that VST, it'll be going in. I like selecting a good little chunk here, and we'll just set that to loop. So this is going to play on its own. Now I can still go in and mess around with this. If I want to play it backwards, I can play it backwards. Do forward and backwards. Random. I can mess with the volume to make it drop here. But I don't want to play with that too much. So once I have my loop selected, let's add some drums. So there's a few different ways of doing drums. Rather than doing my normal way, I'm going to do a quick and dirty way. This is something that should be easy to do without any external keyboards. I am, however, going to be using my MIDI keyboard. Just to make it move a bit faster. However, you can use a virtual keyboard if you want. Alt-B brings up that virtual keyboard. You can use that instead. You'll figure it out. So I'm going to be using, let's see here, Cassette 808. So this is a nice little drum sampler. It's emulating an 808. It's got all our drum sounds. We can mess with it a bit. I'm not really going to. Let's pop this on here. There's actually a faster way of doing this. I could have just duplicated the track, but I'm super nervous because I don't usually do this live in front of people. Unedited live action here. So our I like splitting them up like this, so you can adjust the levels later. We'll get into that. I'm also going to be using Blue ARP. Blue ARP. This is an arpeggiator. It's amazing. I love it. I think everyone should get it. It's free. I'm going to have the link in the description. And I use it for my keyboards. I use it for my drums. I use it for everything. So let's get going. So when you're doing this, make sure your arpeggiator is above your instrument here. Should be able to just drag that down. Okay, that'll make sense. So now we're playing. So this is going to be our hat, right? So we want to use maybe... let's see here. Let's assign this. I don't know why I'm not getting any sound. There we go. So let's use that. Okay, so if we turn on our arpeggiator, we don't want that much. So let's do every other step. Let's slow it down even more. There we go, I like that. Okay. Okay, so we just recorded that MIDI information. Let's go ahead and, whoops, a daisy. Bring this over here and glue it and drag it, and there we go. Okay, now let's add in the kick. Okay, that's a good kick sound. So let's do kick. Okay, something like that. Okay. Again, just gonna. I'm doing this quick, guys, so don't get mad at me, okay? If I'm being messy and this isn't a very good song, okay? I'm gonna do my best here. So now let's add in the snare. Make sure this is on top. Okay, let's see here. Oop, what happened? Okay. There we go. That's a good snare. Okay. Whoop. Oh boy, I get nervous. This is scary. Okay. So let's do a snare like this. Okay, I like that. Okay, save that. So now we basically have our drums set, and I can show you why I like doing them separate like that. Okay. Because really, yeah, I don't want to get into it. So this is just one way of doing drums. There's plenty of other ways. I'll show some in different ones. More sampling drums and playing them yourself on the keyboard, because you could absolutely do that. In fact, if I mute this, or let's mute this. Let's see here. Whatever. You get it. You get the idea. If I wanted to, I could just play the drums. But I'm trying to keep it simple for you guys, so using an arpeggiator is usually just as good. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know about the sound of that. The reason I like doing it that way is that, well, I'll show you. If we want to adjust the sound of these drums separately, it's good. So if we want to EQ this, actually, let's just do a low pass on the kick. So we just want the low to come through. Now this snare, if we want that to be even more snare-y, we can EQ it. Just use a simple graphic EQ. Boost up here. And we can compress that separately or whatever. So that's usually why I like keeping my drums separate. Now, let's get more of a lo-fi feel on our main loop. So let's add that EQ again. Now, to get like a good kind of vinyl sound, I like dropping out the lows and the highs and boosting the mids. Okay, so that should sound good. Now let's add a bit of vinyl crackle. We'll just label that vinyl. I think that's how it's spelled. Where is that? I have that here. Okay, I don't remember where I got these samples from, so I'm sorry I can't help you there, but I'm sure you can find your own. Go ahead and loop this through. So we got a nice vinyl crackle here. So what we're going to do is add an extra send from here to vinyl. So this is making it sound like our loop is coming from vinyl when we sidechain it. We want to add an extra send onto the receiving track. Then we're going to add a compressor. So Recomp is the by Cuckos, the guys that make Reaper. And we're just going to take the auxiliary input, pump this down. Here we go, and that way it kind of moves and pops with the sample. Okay. And let's add some bass now. So I actually play bass, so I'd probably lay down some live bass in this case. But for just keeping it doable for everybody, trying to keep it simple here, I'm going to be using a synthesizer to make a synthesized bass. I'm going to be using Dexed. I'll have the link for that in the description. It's a great synthesizer. It uses FM synthesis, so I could do a whole tutorial on how to use an FM synthesizer, but this is a great beginner's synthesizer for people wanting to learn about how to do frequency modulation synthesis. So for making a good bass noise, I usually like to use this algorithm. It's 2 3-stacks. So there's 2 operators. There's 2 carriers, each with 2 modulators. So I'm just going to make one from scratch here. So usually I like to set this to 2. So if you hear this, this is the only thing making a noise right now, this operator. Then we're going to octave down a bit, make it low. Maybe a bit higher. Okay. We're going to boost this up to 2. Adjust our decay so that it's just this nice sharp burst of harmonics real early on. There we go. There you go. Yeah, 2 and 2 is good. So let's bring this down. And let's make it rougher. So this is 1, keeping this ratio 2 to 1 on the modulation there. Now let's boost up our second voice. This is 4, as you can see, is the second carrier. And this is just going to be kind of a nice growl. So we're going to go down even further. No, let's see here. So you can play with your ratios. Give it kind of a nice growl. Let's adjust this release. Give it a little sustain there. A little more sustain. Okay, well, it's not a great bass, but it'll do. So now I usually just play around and see if I come up with a good little bass line. Well, I'm not doing super good with bass on this one, so but you get the picture. Okay, well, yeah, sometimes it can be hard. You know what the problem might be is that I might have to tune this. There we go. So I wasn't too far off. There we go. Okay. So, took a minute, but I kind of like that bass line. I'm super weird about doing this, but... So I'm playing this... on a MIDI keyboard out here. So we'll go ahead and loop this, I guess. Let's see here. Well, whatever. That's fine. So we might want to EQ this to get an even better sound. Usually when you're EQing a bass, you want to EQ the 100, 200. These are the bass frequencies. It'll give it kind of a... There we go. And let's add a tape echo to it. No, that's not good. So yeah, there you have it. So, you know, that's... I guess that's the start of a song. So from there, I would, you know, mess around. You know, you could make a bridge where you drop the kick and the snare out or whatever. Or just have a kick. And then maybe later we'd go slice up a bit more of this song and find another little bridge. And then go back, you know. But anyway, I'm just kind of tooling around here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll have the links to some of these VSTs in the description. Yeah, well, I did my best. All right, well, I've been Finch, and this has been Lo-Fi, and we'll see you next time. Bye.